Well, folks, here we are. The finale for Power Rangers Dino Charge. And coming off the previous episode, no, not the Christmas special, but the misleadingly titled Wishing for a Hero, I'm extremely excited to see what this episode will be like and how the show will prepare to go into Supercharge. Will it be an intense cliffhanger like Endgame, or will it be a disappointing mess just like the Legend Battle? Well, there's only one way to find out, so let's get into the final episode for the season, One More Energem. The episode opens, oddly enough, not with a previously on segment, but rather Wrench working with a few Viveks on some sort of chemical. Poisandra walks in, nearly knocking over a container of the stuff, which Wrench says can eat a hole through the ship, before asking Poisandra if she's going somewhere with her luggage. Poisandra says she's leaving, before Sledge comes in saying she can't leave now since he's finally gotten an Energem. Poisandra points out that Sledge only has one Energem, and that she won't wait for him to get all 10, but Sledge says that if he just gets one more Energem, the two will finally get married, which convinces her to stay. The Rangers in the meantime are busy testing Miss Morgan's Gitbot, which should be able to find the purple Energem once it gets on board Sledge's ship. After Gitbot successfully finds the red Energem in the lab, the group discuss how to get the robot on the transport pod to Sledge's ship, but Chase says that Sledge has an Energem now, so the team will see him soon, Miss Morgan adding that they need to hit Sledge with everything they've got, which is why she's called in Prince Philip, aka the Graphite Ranger. The team greets the returning Ranger before an alarm goes off, signaling that Sledge's transport pods are headed to Earth. Miss Morgan and the Rangers go to where the pods are landing, the civilian telling the team to distract Sledge so she and Sir Ivan can put Gitbot into one of the transport pods. However, once the two leave, the Rangers are immediately frozen in place by Sledge, who comes flying in on his jetpack. Seeing that the others are in danger, Sir Ivan goes off to help them, and Sledge goes up to Tyler to begin monologuing, but he's cut short by Keeper, who comes in to protect the Rangers. Though Keeper tries to fight off the bounty hunter, he ends up captured and taken by the villains back into space. Deciding that she has no other option, Miss Morgan fights off Viveks and takes one of the transport pods back to Sledge's ship to follow Keeper. Sledge, meanwhile, continues what he was saying as he takes Tyler's Energem, causing him to demorph, but before he can take the other Energems, Tyler picks up Keeper's dropped staff, fighting Sledge off with it, and after the Terrazord finally comes in, the Rangers retreat into the Zord, but Sledge orders Wrench to send down his biggest, baddest monster called Greenzilla.
Everyone okay?
Yeah.
Keeper's powerless without his staff.
Kendall! Where's Kendall? Miss Morgan, are you there?
Rangers, they're in one of Sledge's transport pods. I'm going after Keeper. In Sledge's pod? Miss Morgan!
She's a giant monster, and it could destroy Amber Beach. We gotta stop it.
But we have to rescue friends.
Okay, let's split up. You use the Dino Charge Megazord to destroy that monster.
Huh.
Shelby and I will take the Plesiozord and try to get to Sledge's ship.
You're going into outer space?
If you have a better idea, I'm totally up for it.
That's why you're the Red Ranger, man. As the others fight off Greenzilla, Tyler and Shelby head into space, with the Pink Ranger saying she's worried about Tyler since he's without an Energem, but our man in Red says even though it's dangerous for the two, that's not going to stop them. While that's going on, Miss Morgan boards Sledge's ship, with Gitbot running off to find the purple Energem as Miss Morgan puts on a nearby hazmat suit to disguise herself. Wrench then comes in, gloating about the villain's victory over the Rangers, before handing what he thinks is a Viveks the purple Energem, telling Miss Morgan to put it in the vault. Miss Morgan quickly grabs the Energem and hides it in her pocket, before Sledge comes in, saying he wants Wrench to use the red Energem to turn the Magna Beam into a laser cannon, adding that getting the other 6 Energems will be child's play, a comment that's heard by Poisandra, who yells at Sledge for lying to her. Sledge goes to console his future bride as Wrench orders Miss Morgan to bring him his tools, before we cut back to the Megazord fight where the Rangers are getting beaten down. The team forms the Tristego Terra formation of the Megazord and keeps fighting, before we see the Plesiozord dock Sledge's ship as Wrench finishes hooking up the red Energem to the Magna Beam. The arriving Rangers set off an alarm, so Miss Morgan breaks the security console, blowing her cover. Wrench orders for her to be taken to the trash room, while on Earth, the others are still engaged in a brutal fight with Greenzilla. Miss Morgan's brought to the incinerator, which is what the chemicals from earlier are being used for, and after talking with Keeper for a bit, she says she has an idea, grabbing one of the chemical containers as Sledge walks in. Sledge orders for the two to be dropped into the incinerator, but they fight off the Viveks before Miss Morgan throws the chemicals on the floor, creating a big enough hole for them to escape. Miss Morgan and Keeper land in a room with 2 spike balls that start attacking them, so Miss Morgan fights them off before the purple Energem starts glowing, and when she pulls it out of her pocket, the gem bonds to her, morphing Kendall into the Purple Ranger. With her new powers, Kendall takes on the spike balls again, fighting them with ease before Tyler and Shelby come in to give her some help. Tyler and Shelby are at first confused at the sight of the Purple Ranger, but after she breaks Keeper of his bonds, the alien says that she was always meant to be a Ranger, calling Kendall by name. The 4 make their escape, with Kendall saying they'll come back for the red Energem after they get Keeper to safety, before they get contacted by Chase, telling him that Kendall's now a Power Ranger and that they're headed back to Earth with Keeper. Kendall, Shelby, and Keeper head back to the Plesiozord, but before Tyler can follow them, he hides from Sledge, Fury, and Wrench in the corridor, overhearing Sledge Sledge's plan to use the now Energem-powered Magna Beam to destroy the Megazord. Once the coast is clear, Tyler heads back to the others to tell them what he heard, and though Shelby says they need to warn the other Rangers, Tyler decides to stay on the ship and find the red Energem before Sledge has a chance to use it against them, proving again why he's the Red Ranger. On Earth, the other Rangers are still engaged with Greenzilla, who knocks them down so hard they're knocked out of the Megazord before the girls come flying in on the Plesio Charge Megazord. While Kendall and Shelby keep Greenzilla busy, Keeper appears before the other Rangers, telling him that Tyler's still on Sledge's ship, so they run off to go help him. Back on the ship, Vivix notices Gitbot still roaming around before Tyler kicks the thing into a bin and heads to the bridge. When Tyler gets to the bridge, he blasts down the Vivix inside before noticing a red glow that's coming from his Energem. Tyler tries to get his Energem, but before he can, he dodges a blast from Sledge, who comes in saying Tyler's not so tough without his Energem. Wrench says that the Magna Beam's ready, so Sledge decides to fire it in front of Tyler, but when he pushes the button, nothing happens. Sledge repeatedly pushes the button to get it to work before Gitbot stops in front of Tyler, holding the red Energem. After Sledge finds out the gem's gone, he turns to see Tyler fully morph before the Red Ranger engages in a fight against Sledge. Tyler knocks Sledge into the navigation console, causing the ship to fall towards Earth, so Tyler runs off to evacuate the ship. Tyler eventually finds where the escape pods are, just as Vivix takes the last one, so Tyler decides to jump out of the ship in the hope that he won't die. Tyler sees the ship crash, saying that this looks like the end for both him and Sledge, but luckily the Terrorzord catches him, and Tyler plays up the fact that he didn't think this was the end for him. All 8 Rangers man the cockpit of the Plesio Charge, with Tyler telling the others about Sledge's demise, so they form the Pacarex formation of the Plesio Charge Megazord to take down the final monster. After the fight, the Rangers go back to the lab, where Kendall says that she, Coda, and Sir Ivan will continue looking for the 2 remaining Energems, adding that with Sledge's defeat, the other Rangers can go back to their lives. Keeper says that until all the Energems are found, the Rangers can stay bonded to their dinosaur spirits before the team has a tearful goodbye, and we cut to Shelby asking Tyler where he plans to go now. Tyler says he'll go where the next page leads him, continuing the search for his dad, asking Shelby if she would like to help since he could use a Dino-It-All. Shelby accepts, and as the 2 leave, they see Riley again having trouble with his moped, so they ask if he needs a ride. Once Riley gets into the Jeep, he tells the others he might know where the last 2 Energems are, and the episode ends with this.
It's my turn now.
Well, that's ominous. This episode is great and does a lot to wrap up the season as well as set up Dino Supercharge. What impressed me the most about this finale was that it's just that, a finale. Unlike the seasons that preceded it, Dino Charge does actually have a strong conclusion. It doesn't just stop in the middle like Samurai, nor does it have a to be continued like Megaforce. Instead, this season wraps up more like the end of one adventure, but that there could be more on the horizon, making Dino Charge feel like its own Power Ranger season and not just half of one. That said, there are a few things in this episode that I have to nitpick about. For example, while I respect the season for ending on an episode that introduces a new Ranger, I think this is probably the weakest Ranger introduction we've had so far. And that's mainly because the episode does more to focus on Tyler than I think it does Kendall. Of course, you could argue that Kendall does enough to earn her Energem here, plus the show has already put so much focus on the purple Energem, so we didn't need to focus on it that much in this episode. Both are valid points, and just because I said this is the weakest Ranger introduction doesn't mean it's bad, I just think the focus is a bit off. Going back to Tyler, he was actually one of the major highlights in this episode since he just goes into full Red Ranger mode, which is ironic considering he loses his Energem. It really speaks to his character that he would continue to do what's right and help, even though he may not have the necessary resources. We saw that in the first episode, and we see it in spades in this episode. That's why it's so great to see him fight Sledge when he gets his Energem back, but this does lead me to my next nitpick, which is Tyler should have been fighting Fury. I mean, the show spent so much time building up the conflict between the two, where Tyler's looking for his father, and Fury might know what happened to him, but we haven't had so much as a conversation about that since episode 12. That's almost half the season, but we do have another season to get through, so it's likely they'll butt heads with each other again, and it's still pretty cool to see Tyler go up against the big bad for the season. Overall, this is a good episode, but an even better finale. While I did have a few complaints, they ultimately don't change the fact that this is a strong conclusion that advances the characters. And I for one am glad that Chip Lynn decided to step in as producer and writer this season, creating a show that is both epic and fun that I would definitely recommend to anyone. Let's just hope the next season is just as good. I'm Nick, aka IronBat1993, and I'll see you guys next time for Power Rangers Dino Supercharge.